So we'll make a start. We've got Councillor Chloe will count as here, doing the important job of getting coffee. So Morena, welcome everybody, to our members of the public, to our local board members, to our panel, and obviously to our councillors. Thank you all for being here. We've got a lot of apologies. First of all, from the Mayor, who is at a funeral of Mr. Ganges Singh, and we'll talk about Mr. Singh in a moment. We've got apologies from Councillor-elect Cashmore, Councillor Fletcher.
Who I think is also at the same funeral.
Oh, he's at the same funeral, yep. Councillor Fletcher.
Campaigning.
Councillor, let's not,
They're all
there.
They're all marginal seats all
some
the
of
ones
us are
away.
holding
Councillor Wayne Walker for lateness, Councillor Penrose because of traffic issues, and Councillor Quacks. Councillor Wood is sick, which is lots of love to Councillor Wood, and Councillor Darby for early departure. I think this will be quite a quick meeting, Councillor Darby, so how about we see if we can do that before you need to leave.
How about I don't depart?
How about you don't depart? No, how about we just make the meeting last a sensible amount of time. So again, warm welcome, and I'll move the apologies. If someone would like to second, Councillor Philippaina, I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Declarations of interest? None. Confirmation of the minutes. Now we've got two sets, the 28th of July and the huge telephone book-sized volume of the unitary plan governing body meeting. So I'm happy to move those two sets of minutes if someone would like to second that. Councillor Clow, I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. So just moving on to acknowledgements and achievements, and I'll do these the other way around. I'll talk to the achievements first and then we'll do the acknowledgements. Obviously the first huge acknowledgement, you've got these on your desk in front of you, is the fact that the unitary plan has passed. It kind of has happened and it's done and it's passed, and it was a remarkable feat, and we'll be thanking the staff tonight. We've certainly acknowledged the key people involved and the government partners, and our warm acknowledgement also of course goes to Judge Kirkpatrick and his team, hearing more than 10,000 submissions on the plan. It was an extraordinary job, and once we're out of the end of the statutory process, I'm sure we'll have a chance to meet with the panel and acknowledge them. We've also got on our list Auckland being judged the eighth most livable city, and Melbourne, Vienna, Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, Adelaide and Perth, and us. So that's a pretty good list to be part of. We've reached climate change milestone, showing that our target for 40% reduction. However, we've achieved a milestone, but to be absolutely honest, we've got an awfully long way to go, and one hopes that in the next term of this council it's something we will engage in with enthusiasm and rigour. The Auckland Transport introduces the Simple Fares system, and sorry, I have to confess I haven't read this in front of me yet, but I do know that around the region we've had a large percentage of fares have stayed the same, but a decent chunk of fares have actually gone down. So I think that shows that we're heading in the right direction. Obviously we'd all like people travelling by public transport to have much cheaper fares, but at the moment it needs to, I guess, wash its face, and hopefully at the moment it is. Again, more work to do there. Someone consulate opens in Mangere, and I know Councillor Philippaina you were there, Alf? Yep. And congratulations. It actually looks like an amazing place. So very cool to have that open. Whakapuna Playground. Councillor Darby, saw your posts on Facebook about the playground. That's a really good achievement by the...
I haven't been on the slide yet though.
Have you not?
No, I haven't got on the slide.
I think someone must have posted
Dean and I are
it.
going to go on the slide.
Facebook Live.
It happens in the
as
second
it
term,
does.
Chris.
Yeah, slide down.
It's very good.
But well done. It looks fantastic. So well done, team. And council are removing sugar sweetened drinks at our leisure centre. I think everyone's pleased about that. Now we just need to sort out some of the other problems that formed part of the debate following on the removal of the sugary drinks. Pop-up Global wins awards, and I think there's some really good work being done, as far as I know, to keep the whole Pop-up Globe phenomenon going, and we've got council staff involved in that. Wynyard Quarter turns 5, Bruce Mason Centre turns 20, so there's an awful lot going on, as always, and we acknowledge everyone who's part of all of those really exciting and diverse parts of Auckland life. But it's also the time when we acknowledge extraordinary people in our region who we've lost, and again, councillors, we're acknowledging Ganji Singh, Bruce Dale, Dr. Napor Wehi, Peter Gossage, and Linda Cooper and I.
I thought you would say Linda Cooper. I'm still alive.
You're still there, thank God. But Linda and I are going to, and have added our wonderful Pio Tere's son, Taina Tere, who we'd like to talk about.
Madam Chair, just before we go to that, could we acknowledge the return of the Olympians yesterday down at the wall?
Yeah.
Because the cloud, rather.
Yeah.
It wasn't an Auckland achievement as such, it was a New Zealand achievement, but I wasn't there, but everything I've seen was absolutely fantastic, and I think it would be good to acknowledge that Auckland can host that sort of thing.
And at short notice, apparently it was fantastic. Yeah. Councillor Stewart.
Oh yes, I'd just like to another acknowledgement, if I could. We've just adopted the Auckland Civil Defence and Emergency Group Plan for 2016-2021, which is a statutory requirement under Civil Defence Management for 2002, and it's been about two years of work. So a really big pat on the back to the team. Civil Defence, and especially to John Drakovich, and I want to also acknowledge Elaine, who's been absolutely wonderful and supportive, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. They're an awesome team, and well done for your leadership in that, and for your really nice thank you. I just popped in at the end of your meeting, and there was you did a very nice job of acknowledging the team, so I appreciate that. So I'd just like to speak to our community leaders who we're acknowledging, and Mr. Ganji Singh QSM, it's his funeral that Bill and Len are at today. And Mr. Ganji Singh was a stalwart of Pukekohe, and he died over the weekend of pancreatic cancer. Ganges was named after the SS Ganges, the ship that he was born on at sea when his parents were migrating from India to Fiji, where his family lived for several years. Ganges worked in a variety of jobs with the Public Works Department there. When he migrated to New Zealand, he was reportedly the first and only dairy, fruit and vegetable shop owner in Albany in 1962. He moved to Pukekohe in 1970 and became a market gardener, a profession he enjoyed for the next 3 decades. A community stalwart and popular leader, Ganges actually had many firsts to his credit, including the first Punjabi to be awarded the QSM in 1990, the first trade union leader representing the Indian community, and the first person of Indian origin to be elected president of the Association of Justices of the Peace. And I think that's where many of us came across him in that role. He held many positions in several organisations and was a past president of the Auckland Regional Ethnic Council and a life member of the New Zealand Federation of Multicultural Councils. He was also a trustee of the County's Consumer Trust. Ganges was awarded his QSM for services to the community, and he was actively involved in many, many ways. Ganges died at 79, and his funeral, as we said, is being held at the Pukekohe Indian Centre today. He leaves behind his wife, son and 2 daughters, and as everyone who knows him says, welcome Councillor Quicks, he'll be sorely missed by them and the whole community. We'll stand at the end and acknowledge our acknowledging. I also want to acknowledge Bruce Dale from the West, former Henderson Immediate Principal of 11 years, and Waitakere Deputy Principal. Bruce Dale died unexpectedly and to shocked knowledge of the community at age 64 He was hugely respected across primary, intermediate and secondary education sectors. Bruce spoke fluent Māori and helped introduce the National Te Kahuia program to improve Māori students' learning outcomes. He was a life member of the Waitakere Principals Association and involved with a number of Rotary clubs and an archdeacon of the Anglican Church. Bruce filled in for many principals across the country after resigning from Henderson Intermediate, and his most recent role was at Matamata Primary, where he was a pupil as a child. During his time at Henderson, Dale made the building of the school's auditorium and new administration block possible. His former school board chair, Ron Crawford, said that Bruce made Henderson a successful and sought-after school in West Auckland. He knew all of his students and had time for them all, and if there was a problem, he was the person who knew how to work out how to fix it with the student. The next person we're acknowledging is Dr. Ngāpō Wehi. The Māori performing arts community went into deep mourning when it learned of the sad loss of Dr. Ngāpō Wehi QSM, a kapahaka exponent extraordinaire. Ngāpō was Ngāti Tūhoi and Te Whare Ngāpui, Te Whenua o Apanui and Ngāti Kahu. He also held the record for the most national wins in the history of kapahaka. Raised in Waiweka, he was a musician, composer, choreographer, author, teacher, father and grandfather, and much loved brother to 15 siblings. He met the love of his life, Pimia, when he was 17, and that's when his journey with kapahaka began. After leading many teams to wins in the National Kapahaka program, Ngāpō and Pimia moved to Auckland to retire, but as we all know, that retirement didn't eventuate. The couple set up a whānau group in a garage in Waitakere in 1981, and the following year Te Wakahuia went on to perform at its first regionals at the Hoene Waititi Marae. In 1986 the team qualified at the first nationals in Christchurch, where in its first stand it won the Supreme Award. After securing 2 titles with Wairere and Te Wakahuia, Ngāpō went on to win in Ngarawahia in 1992, Hawera in 1994, Mount Manganui in 2009 and Rotorua in 2013. Ngāpō's favourite quote and the philosophy he lived by was, "Free the mind, be strong of spirit and you can achieve anything." Ngāpō's beloved wife died in 2011 and he died aged 82, survived by 5 children and many, many mokopuna. Peter Gossage, we'd also like to acknowledge the man responsible for penning the images that brought to life many well-known Māori legends. He's a beloved children's author and he died at age 69. A private man, Peter's colourful depictions of Māori folklore are a common feature in many children's bookshelves and in libraries and schools, and I think we can all picture some of Peter's work. His style was described as very distinctive. While his stories were simple, they were very well crafted. He was a wonderful storyteller and his books sold in their thousands and they've become New Zealand classics. He was born in Auckland, began his career in advertising, and his rise to popularity as a children's author began when he was producing Māori motifs for television commercials and they were noticed by a publisher. His first book, How Maui Found His Mother, was published in 1975 and was the beginning of a series of books that quickly became the mainstay of children's reading lists. His other titles included Fish of Maui, How Maui Found the Secret Fire, and Battle of the Mountains, and I think most of us have got those on our children's bookshelves at home. So we acknowledge Peter's huge contribution. And the last person that Councillor Cooper and I want to acknowledge is Taina Tere, the beloved 17-year-old son of Pio and Debbie Tere, and brother of Jack and Dalton. Linda and I attended Taina's service at the Henderson Valley School Hall, and there must have been 500 people there. Let's not tell health and safety, but there was standing room only in the hall, and that's testament to the extraordinary family that Pio and Debbie have created and the love that the community feel for Pio. And also this extraordinary young man at the age of 17 had won the admiration of his peers his teachers and the school leaders, and the singing and the haka by these beautiful 17-year-old men reduced Linda and I to tears. Taina died he lost his battle with leukemia, and as we say, died at 17, supported by his family. But it does remind us that our time with our families is fleeting, and we need to spend quality time caring for the people that we love, and there was nothing more clear at that extraordinary service. So I'd like us to stand and think about these people and think about people we've lost. Thank you. So much. So we move on to petitions.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councillor
in
Quinn.
terms of acknowledgements, I wonder if it'd be appropriate for us achievements of the Aucklanders who did so well at the Rio Olympics might be
We did that
We
just
did that
before you
before
got
you
here,
arrived.
Councillor.
And that already,
Williams.
well, you see, that happens when you're right.